This audio podcast is brought to you by ETFdigest.com. Check out Dave's new book, Create Your Own ETF Hedge Fund, a do-it-yourself ETF strategy for private wealth management. Pre-order today and receive nearly 40% off on Amazon.com. Now here's your host, Dave Fry.
Dave, back from a long hiatus. Happy New Year to you. And I'm here with my good buddy Greg Newton of NakedShortsTypePad.com. Greg, Happy New Year to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, everybody. And
we probably don't have to say that again. Gets worn out after a while. Huh?
Not till next year.
Not till next year, yeah. Well, since Christmas, we've had just a lot of really, really bad news, and the market's been responding positively, which is always one of those good signs people consider, yet we've had extremely light volume. But, the market is what the market's doing, and that's it, huh, Greg?
Absolutely. It's, I made a comment before that the C team's been left on the trading desk. They got their instructions to run it up into the new year, so there was a nice little piece of paint taping.
Yep.
Tape painting earlier this week, and obviously the A team certainly isn't the Bears A team certainly isn't back at work yet, so they ran it up a little more today. It's happening in the infrastructure stuff. Energy was up big today. A lot of the steels were up big today. As far as I'm concerned, we're halfway to another good chance to short the hell out of those. It's been very entertaining.
Yeah.
But the part of the bottoming process, everybody can go all in. It's never going to go down again.
Do you detect a note of sarcasm, folks? Well, one thing that's probably going on that seems pretty obvious to me is that we have there's a lot of algorithms out there that belong to hedge funds and trading desks, and these things just kick in, and they just really haven't found, for program trades and so forth, and they just haven't found any resistance. It's just people aren't around to, and I've seen this many times before at this time of year, where you get this kind of reaction over Christmas and thereafter shortly, and then the first 5 trading days of January can also be misleading sometimes. So it's hard to say what's going to happen. I can say this, though, that I've been really busy over the last 2 weeks, as you folks know, with working in the lab, as I've been calling it, the chart lab, and have come up with some enhancements, let's say, to the trading systems, which I wanted to get done before the end of the year, and I did. And being in cash as much as we have been allowed me the opportunity to spend more time than I usually do. I seem to be always looking at things, and people keep sending me ideas and so forth, and from other traders and technical analysts and so forth, and I look at that. Generally, I get some of that stuff maybe once a month and so forth, and I try it out and see how it is and so forth, and how to integrate it, and generally 90% of the time don't employ it. Sometimes I'll just test it out for a while and see how it goes, and then I think the best way to do things like this is I think we did this with DeMark, is basically we tested it in late 2006, ran it in all of 2007 in real time, and then started to employ it within the systems in 2008. That's basically how we're doing things. So I don't have anything further to say about that at the moment. I'm going to write something about it this weekend, which I'm already busily writing, actually. So have any thoughts, Greg?
No, I think that, you make a good point, though, that technical trading is, thought of as something, well, you get a system and you work it. But it's obviously something that needs constant updating, constant, monitoring, because of, markets do change over time rather more slowly than it sometimes appears. But the investment in this kind of effort is absolutely necessary to keep things moving forward. And I mean, one of the big changes commented to you in my little email exchange last night, that DeMark, for example, is a relatively new system. It's been around for 10 years or so?
Actually, his first book, I think, came out in the late 70s.
Okay.
Early 80s, but he's refined it a few times, yes.
But also it's something that has not been widely employed in the wider market. until relatively recently. And obviously, you can actually see markets moving as various DeMark signals. Now, there's a lot of different ways of interpreting all of these things, but it is possible in certain days to actually watch things sort of bouncing off these signals or hitting them and, ripping in the direction that they were supposed to. And you get the sense that it's hard to describe that just phenomenon as a character change in the markets, but it's an influence that has obviously grown over time and is one of the ways in which markets change.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are using DeMark and have customized it or have butchered it and called it DeMark, which is really annoying to me. They have done that, and it's really incorrect. Some of the things they're doing. As a matter of fact, you pointed out one guy, again, don't remember who it is, and I don't really care, who had posted what was passed for DeMark indicators when in fact they weren't, and that he had changed them. He said, well, it should be about the same. Well, that's intolerable, actually. It's one indicator isn't everything. It's how you integrate it with with other things that you're doing. Greg really knows, and I know from basically doing the research, and I do research back to 1982, basically, because that's where you look at a market that has that kind of data, and you go back, you look at it, you back test it, and back testing is full of all kinds of problems in and of itself. First, the human side is that, like I like to test the NASDAQ composite because it gives me so many different appearances. It can be really volatile. It can trend really well. It can go through different, .com kinds of experiences, and then bear markets, and then it can get real choppy. There really is no all-weather trading system that works in every market condition. So, you really try to avoid these things. Now, what we did with DeMark lately is, we went into cash on a weekly 9 sequential back in October, November, and the market has done an awful lot between then and today